Hello teachers, today we are going to take a look at about class designing, some suggestions for pockets, games and backpack level games. As you can remember, for pockets the students are mainly 3 to 5 years old and for backpack is from 6 above. So for pockets level 3 to 5 years old, what kind of activity or games should we do with them? Let's see. First, why dueling games are important in English teaching as a second language? It's more interesting, making the lesson be more attractive, and making students feel happy. Students feeling happy is the most important thing in teaching centers. As you know, if a kid is not happy, they refuse to come, then the parents wouldn't sign up for us. So that is very, very important, and it's down to you who can try to make your class more fun and actually make yourself enjoy the class as well. Matching students' different learning styles. If you have learned TEFL, then you might have met that students have different types of learning style due to multiple intelligence. And we use activities or games to drill all the intelligence so that we are also trying to help different students to learn with different ways. Easy for students to remember the target language. If you just dullly keep them to repeat everything you want them to say, they will forget. So it's always something that impresses them that can keep in their mind for longer time. Games for pockets. Here are some suggestions. First is 4 corners. It's very easy. When you are drilling questions and answers, and when you are teaching some new vocabulary. Let's say you're teaching 4 kinds of food. One is apple, banana, pear, orange. It depends. For younger level, you can just imagine those are easy words, but for higher level, you can even imagine it's sentences. So let's take apple, pear, banana, orange as an example. Before we start the game, we would have to put the flashcards down in the classroom on the floor in 4 different corners, and you will keep them to say it's an apple or I like apples, I like oranges. And so this is also practicing them to how to ask questions as well, because students always tend to just be able to answer teacher's question, but they can't ask any questions on their own, and that is not very good for communication. So for example, you would drill them or show them the sentence, what do you like? And so teacher would stand back to all the students, and you would give them 5 seconds to pick one card and stand next to it. So I would say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So everyone in the classroom will be standing next to a card, and so they would say, what food do you like, all together, and the teacher have to say, I like apples. So student whoever stands next to the apple card have to all sit down, because we tell them the apple is a bone and they pick the bone, and so they lose the game, they have to sit down. This is a good game because first it practices students ability to ask questions, and it review all the games. It review all the new words, and also it's a whole class involved game, so that none of them will get absent-minded. And also it keeps them to move around as well. So all the students love this game. Duck Goose. Again, it's an activity that involving everybody. So all the students have to sit on the floor in a circle, and we pick one student, or teacher can set as an example. You just walk behind the students and touch their head while saying duck, 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 goose. Whoever got touched and said goose, they have to stand up and chase after teacher. So teacher have to run and sit on his or her spot, so that student will be the one who goes duck, 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 goose. This is very fun game for warming up activity. Finger drilling. So this is an activity for you to drill the words, drill the sounds. As we all know that pockets level students learn from repetition, so we try our best to get them to repeat the words or sentences as much as possible. When I have a flashcard, for example, we say tiger, and then I put 3 fingers on the card, which means they have to read it 3 times. So they have to say tiger, tiger, tiger. Whoever reads less or more than what's noted with teacher's finger, they lose the game. So if you keep the pace fast, it would be a fun game. Freeze game. This is a good game also if you have energetic students, and you can take a little break from your class content and give them a quick freeze game as a break, so that you can gain their attention again to continue with your other content in the class. So what they would do is everybody stand up, and then they would walk towards teacher while saying a certain word or sentences that you give to them. Let's say we are saying the police works in a police station. So I like to sound it like a chant because kids would love it. And so they have to say the police works in a police station. The police works in... Whenever teacher says freeze, they have to keep quiet and keep a freeze posture. So teachers would go and tickle them and tell them whoever moves when I tickle you, you lose the game, you have to sit down. Changing seat. Teacher will make a statement, can say something about the weather, the month and everything. If teacher makes a mistake, they have to, all the students in the classroom have to stand up and change their seat. Whoever gets the last seat will be the loser. They will come out to be the teacher, or maybe teacher can go and get 1 seat yourself, so that 1 student wouldn't have a seat, and then they lose. What I do most with this game is, for example, when I am teaching how to describe a person, or how teaching clothes items, I will get 1 student stand up next to me and I will say, her name is Kelly, she has long hair, she is wearing a sweater. And then I will make a wrong statement. When I make it wrong, everyone have to run back, everyone have to stand up and change their seat. 1, 2, 3, bingo. When teacher, so two students would stand face to face. Each of them show 1 finger. When teacher says ready, go, they have to say 1, 2, 3. Then they will need to shout out the word. Mouth, eyes, ears. If they both say the same word, then it is bingo. So it's like a drinking game, but we change it to a class game. While they meet the same kind of words, and it's a bingo. What's missing is very, very common in this level. So we would be teaching a few words each class, for example 6 maybe, and then we want to check everybody's comprehension, if every student in your class know these words already. So what will you do is you put all the flashcards on the floor and get them to repeat the words or the sentences after you every time you put them on the floor. And then you get everybody to close your eyes. And quickly you took one of the card and hide it behind you and say, open your eyes. So the first one who guess which one is missing wins the game. However, students always cheat on this game, but I think it's fine because it's a game just for fun anyway. Cowboy. It's also a game for checking comprehension. Two students stand back to back and the teacher will give order 1, 2, 3 while they have to go forward 1, 2, 3, and then when teacher says go, they have to turn around. Oh, by the way, at the very beginning when they stand back to back, teacher will give everyone one card, one flashcard to put in front of their belly. However, the students shouldn't cover the word or the picture with their hand, so it should be able to be seen easily. And with the card on their belly, they will go forward 1, 2, 3, and then turn around. And the first one to read their partner's card, read the word on their partner's card wins the game. Cut your mouth. It's also a drilling game. So when the picture cards are displayed on the floor, teacher jumps in front of one card and say it's a rabbit, and jump to the next one, it's a tiger. If teacher makes a good right statement, student would repeat what you said. If you make a wrong statement when you say it's a tiger while it's actually a rabbit, then everyone have to cut their mouth and keep quiet like this. Hit the monster in a line. It's a game for you to check students' comprehension and also for students during their reading. So they would stand in a line, everybody, and holding a card in front of them. Every time when teacher says the words on their card, they have to step out one step and read the card very quickly, then go back to the line. So it's like if I say it's a tiger, whoever has a tiger have to go forward one step and say it's a tiger, and then go back to the line. If they are too slow or if they make a mistake, teacher would hit them with a squeezy hammer. Not a real hammer though. Don't hit too hard because some kids wouldn't take it as a joke. They would say, oh, the teacher's hitting me, and tell their parents. So you can use a squeezy hammer which you can find easily in your center. Storm on the card. This is a quick game for them to drill the word or to repeat the word after teacher. However, if the flashcard is on the floor, when the students storm on it, it's very slippery and the students might fall. So I don't really suggest you to get students to stomp on each card. Blow on your face. This can be a warm-up game, like you blow up a balloon with a bomb, and then just let go of the balloon, or you can hold the balloon, and then when the student reads the word, you would loose a little bit of the mouth, the balloon, so that it would blow on their face or on their ears. They love it. Sit on the balloon. So you don't tie the balloon, but every time, like after I read it's a giraffe, it's a horse, it's a da-da-da, I review everything, then I get a chance to sit on the balloon while the teacher actually loosen the mouth a little bit so that the balloon doesn't go boom, right? And students love that kind of thing. I don't know why, but they just love it. So here are some other suggestions for reviewing. Whatever you want them to do or to read, after that you just give them a reward. A reward like this is like a dart, but actually you can do it with a sticky ball. You put this on the whiteboard, they just, after reading whatever you want them to do or doing whatever you want them to practice, then you get them a chance to throw the sticky ball to the whiteboard or to the picture, so that which number their sticky ball stands on would represent how many points can they get. Everyone likes to be rewarded. Just give them stars after they throw on the point. It's just like this one. Some very easy PPT games that you can use. For example, this one. After we teach food, we can get them to review the words. What we do is just take a plate or a piece of paper and we will just put it at the bottom of the whiteboard. Student would have to catch each food with that plate. Like, oh, what's that? Okay, when they see this job, they have to say, it's a sandwich, it's a hot dog, it's a hamburger. Okay, so pretend that they are catching the food while actually nothing happened. This is a good way to practice their if they get or if they remember all the words. Also, you can see you put a poo-poo on it just for fun and they love it. And also you can tell them that you can't catch poo-poo because you can't eat them. So here are all the useful and most common games for Pockets level. You can take a look and keep all these games. And now let's take a look at backpack level. Backpack level are students who aged from 6 above. So for the activities, some of the activities you can actually use the ones we mentioned earlier. However, we do want to focus more on their communication and sentence reading, sentence writing, and spelling for backpack level. So there are some other suggestions. For every class, let's see, class games or class activities. What are the purpose of activities? What are the purpose of games? To provide variety, I think we would use games to provide variety. To form a team building, I think it's activities that we use to form team building. Learning style adaptation, we use different games or activities to adapt every student's learning style. Entertaining, games are entertaining. Test, activities maybe. Maintain attention, I think we use both games and activities can maintain students' attention because it's not dull anymore. Skill improvement, I think activities can improve students' skill. So here we are going to talk about different activities for vocabulary, for sentence, for reading and writing, and for projects. For warming up. Warm-up is very useful for a class because it can gain students' attention, break the ice, wake up their students or even yourself, or set context. So there are 10 different, I want you to think about 10 different kinds of warm-up games or activities. Though maybe I can give you some of the things I can think about. First, singing and dancing. You can easily find some videos to keep students singing or dancing, but make sure they are suitable for students, especially the lyrics. Next, some action game or wrong action game. So you will give them a rule and then give them an instruction and then tell them to do the things that you want them to do, and also you will do it yourself. While your action and the instruction doesn't match, then everybody have to run back and sit down. All these games will be very useful to wake up the students. I like to do action games when I meet a class with all the naughty students, because at the very beginning, if I make them lose energy a little bit, probably they can sit still for a while for me, so that I can be easily doing my class. So there are some other suggestions for losing their energy, like for example, touch the ball. So what we would do is to get them counting. Put them into two teams, and everyone have to run to the ball and say a number 1, 2, 3, 4. So you would run to the ball and touch and say 1, and then run back to your seat. The next one in your team would run and say 2, and then run back, and so on. And then we would go back to the first student and do it again until the teacher says stop. You can always change that as well. If you don't want them to just count very easy, then you can think about some categories. So for example, you can get them to say colors. Then everyone run to the ball, have to touch the ball and say a color. And they can't repeat. If they repeat, they lose. Or when the teacher says stop, so how many colors did they say, would get how many points for their team. There are all the other warming up activities as well, and if you try to think about what is the best for your class, you can search online as well. That's what I do. For teaching vocabulary, so after we teach or lead in vocabulary, then we would want to check their understanding. We would want them to repeat as much as possible. So this is a game. Actually, this would be to check if they recognize the words. What we would do is the teacher would pre-cut some vocabularies that we have learned and put them in 2 bowls and prepare chopsticks for each team. So what we would do is to get them to run, to use the chopsticks to pick some words or flashcards and move to the other side, and so on. Run back and forth to get as much cards as possible. And at the end of the game, we get them to read all the words they have picked with their chopstick. That would be a good activity for them to review all the words or phrases. Spelling race. 2 students play together. One student guesses the word and the other one says some clues about the word. They need to finish the guessing within 16 seconds. So for example, then one of them would be standing back to the word, another facing the word. So the one facing will say, the birds live in it, it's on a tree, So the other one have to guess it's a nest within 60 seconds. So you can pick different words as well. I think all these games will be fun, even for adults to play. Next one, alphabet words. In this game, you will see a category. For example, if I say category of animals, then every time I'll show them a letter. If I say B, whoever says a animal starting with the letter B will win a card from me. So if I say bear, then I'll win a card. At the end, we'll see who has the most cards from the teacher, and then he or she will be the winner. This can be a warm-up activity as well. Next, a fast-thinking category-based vocabulary game. So give a word that starts with the given letter T, and then you have to say a boy's name, a fruit that begins with T, a furniture that begins with T, different categories. It's very fun. Next, for teaching sentences. I think we did mention this activity at our first section while we give them some words unscrambled. and they have to form a sentence as soon as possible. You can, if you want to make it more challenging, you can put a bell on each tick every time they finish to put the words in the sentence, to scramble the sentence. Then you can get them to ding 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 ding. So it's a race, and we can see which team goes faster. Memory chain. This is very good for you to practice also categories. If you want them to practice all the things they can do, so they will say, I went to school yesterday, I went to school and met my friends yesterday. The next one have to remember what the first two said and make the sentence longer and longer again until the last one who forgets. Next one is a sentences game for slightly older students because they need to know what is simple past. So we'll give them two keywords, nephew cry and simple past tense. So they have to use simple past tense and these two words to make a long sentence. So they can say, my nephew cried yesterday because he was hungry. The teachers should tell them that, like, if they form a sentence within how many words, they get how many points, and so that they don't just say, my nephew cried. That's an easy sentence. We try our best to form their ability to say much longer sentences. Build the sentence. You will see 4 words. You have to form a grammatically correct sentence with these 4 words before the time is up. So the clock will go ding. This is very useful as for higher level, and they love the challenge. And also make sure you don't play this game for too long because it's very easy for you to lose on your time control. Spot the difference. Make sure that you don't just get them to circle out the difference, but also make them to try to form it in a sentence as well. The first pig doesn't have a tongue, the second one has a tongue. This tree has 3 apples, this tree only has 1. Keyword run. So, 2 students will stand up and face the class. This is very useful to practice students reading. We always meet when we want students to read something out, they will feel like, I don't want to read. However, if you put it in a game, it would be they are forced to read, so they have to do it. What we would do is they stand back. I am so sorry, I need to find that. So they will stand back to the board. The teacher would write one keyword on the board while students will start to read the story. When they read the word that teacher wrote down on the board, the rest of the class will shout out the word very loud. Once this classmates shout out the word, these 2 students have to run back and sit down. Whoever is faster would win the game and get a point. Next, reading and writing, find someone who. This is a typical game when you can use it as a warming up if you're teaching a higher level. So you will list out some items for them to find in the classroom. They have to go to everyone in the classroom and ask them, do you have, do you like, can you, how did you, how do you, stuff like that, and find out the answer for find out a name for each item. And at the end, do remember to check who has brothers or sisters. Make them to say the sentence. So there are also a lot of some other activities that you can do. Do take a look at the details of each activity and plan it according to the student's level. Make sure the activities that you choose won't be too difficult for the student. And thank you for your time. See you next time.